The story begins with a young man who complains about crowding trains while he was going to university. He says, "Go to university daily from this remote outlet as hell. How did I do it throughout my first year? You must really move or leave the university." A young man appears, and Song Sinbei says to him how a former reserve sergeant in the special forces, like you, he speaks such a weak words. Or was it what I said about the special forces is just a lie? How a person like you is exposed to this harsh training not to stay 2 hours in the means of transportation. Song Sinbei Hanho says this is like this after you go to the army. To you from time you will stand there. The young Hanho says, "Please, let's not talk about this song." Hanho says, "Do you not tell you at the deportation ceremony not to be linked to the campus?" It arrives at the campus. Hanho says, "Look at the sky. Did you not remind you of something that shows numbers in the university?" Song Senbei did not see the writing because she disappeared quickly, looking at Hanho and joking him. But he is upset with him and screams on him. He says that there was his book in the air from 1 moment ago, saying download monsters. It was 99%, and when it was about to reach 100%, suddenly disappeared. It was here completely, the top of the library. Song Senbei joins him, holds his neck and says, "I say, and feel the kind of games you play before going to sleep, which naughty didn't. You can differentiate the game and reality." Song Senbei goes and tells him that it is just hallucinations, because you were drinking a lot of these days. Hanho is attached to him and asked him to go to drink some coffee first. My mind is now dispersed. I need to caffeine. Song Senbei says, "I don't have enough time for this. Professor Kim will kill me if we are late." Hanho says, joking Song Senbei, "You will be calm in front of him in all cases. I learned emotional stability in the special forces." After all, Hanho decides to go not to have lunch before it ends. "But did you really not see this writing previously?" Song Senbei says, "Stop talking to the splendor. I will go to my lecture first, and I will call you later." Go to the barn hall. The doctor explains the lecture to them, but Song Senbei feels very sleepy. He says, "I had to bring the coffee previously is difficult to keep my eyes open judicially." A notice from the regime says, "What is the best job to survive at the end of the world? Please choose one." It did not understand that suddenly the grievance of the world is afraid of students. They say, "And what is it wronging? What is this against hell? I cannot see anything." Song Senbei says in himself that she is fully grievance. In broad daylight that we could not see anything. I do not think this is just an eclipse that one of the students says. I can even use my phone. What is happening? One of the girls says, "What is this window? Am I the only one that you can see?" But it appears among all the students in the installation hall. They say, "What is this picture? Is it three-dimensional?" Song says in himself that it is not just hallucinations or a three-dimensional image. This message is the same for everyone. Everyone can see a notification from the system. Only 15 seconds. They show cards, but students are afraid of the cards and say, "Perhaps this is a trap that no one touches or choose a card. It must be dangerous," Song says in himself. But is it not to touch it more dangerous? I am idle in the hands. Who knows what will happen? After the 15 seconds have passed, the system left only 10 seconds. Song tell me to choose a card. What is this similar to the poker game? What? I have to choose in this short time. One of them chose a card that looked at a sword to look at him with amazement. Song says you can be the warrior card that suddenly disappeared. 1 moment by thinking about the end of the world? Didn't it say, choose the best job to survive, that the number of stars varies from one card to another? I do not know what this means. But let us choose the card with the largest number of stars. The system has chosen a 5-star function card. The system closes, says the first choice of the job has ended. If you do not get the presents, the situation is due to what it was. Some say, what happened to repentance? The rite of hell. Is this sword real? The young man says, I chose the warrior card, and this sword fell from it. Song says, if I am now really prepared. But why does nothing appear in front of me? While they are surprised by what happened to attack one of them, Ghoul, and he kills the young man. I ask you, who is in the hall. They are afraid, and they run away in front of the ghoul. Song are surprised by what happened. Looking at the owner of the warrior card, Manhwa says, "You remember me as well." He screams while he is afraid, and says, "What, you are waiting for me to do the ghoul attack on Song?" He says to himself, "If I knew this would happen, I would have escaped quickly. If I turn back to him now, my end will be." He takes one of the chairs to hit the ghoul with it. System notification: "I have received 10 gold coins to hunt you, ghoul." What is this? What does this message mean? 10 gold coins. It is impossible. Is this world like the laws of games applied to it? The system is under your control. The dead will follow your followers. The follower of the follower is one of the three ghoul. First level. Weapon: the dagger of sweat. Ghoul property: students look at the ghoul of the earth and scream, "Look at you." The ghoul is a skeleton. Song says, "This is true. My job can evoke the dead souls." The goblin enters the lecture hall. Students who are afraid and screaming that they are here again. There are 2 others. Your living dead system is waiting for your air song, which is a hesitant, a killer. Get rid of them for me. The skeleton is attacked on them. Song Senbei says, "If I stay watching the battle, so I will have to fight again. They are the size of the child. It cannot be the opponents of the powerful. If I only have a suitable weapon," Song says. "Give me the sword quickly." But Minso refuses and says, "He is my property." Song Senbei says, "If you don't kill them." Minso looks at Aljalin and is afraid of Song fighting the sprites with chairs. After ending the fighting, he receives 10 gold coins for each picker. Who killed him, Song or the skeleton? After the fighting is over, the skeleton is heading towards Song and looks at Song, says, "I am sorry, but your outlook makes me uncomfortable. Can you look at the other direction? You did not have a disappointment of what you said." Notice from the regime: "On your order, the dead will follow your followers. Touch the details of each individual. It has reached the maximum number." One of the girls screams, "Help me, Professor. I cannot contact the police," Song says. "I assume that this is happening in the entire school, or perhaps the entire country or the entire world." Enters one of them, the base, and says it is not worth staying here to get out of here. One of them decides to go to the car park, takes his car, but he meets the goblins. He decides to escape, but the goblins attack them. Song Senbei says, "Let everyone escape. I will take care of them." To be accurate, they will do, but they escape separated, not collective. Song says, "No. If you separate like this," he says to himself, "you may be good. Let them go according to their options." Although there is no evidence, but there is a rule in this game, and we must follow the profession and the forces that we got, and the appearance of monsters that can be known as the heads. I may be wrong, but if they face their face to the face, the rate of survival I may rise is good now. I have them to fight for me. The skeletons fight the sprites, but the sprites are stronger than the skeletons and kill them with a notice from the Lamati regime. They move to eternal death. Song Senbei says, "Please defeat them skeletons. Kill them and get golden currencies from the system," he says to them. "You made a notification from the system. Your level has risen to level 2. Name you Song Senbei level 2. Profession cut power protective 5 gathering 5 endurance 5 gold currencies 50. Song Senbei says in games, the individual usually gets distribution points when it rises at the level. Points from the system. Please choose a card that shows 5 random cards in front of Song. The first card is the second random element, random skill. The third is the fourth random capacity, fifth other random things. Song chooses a card and says, "Undoubtedly this is the most important factor in most of the games. Although you do not know what you will happen, but I will choose a random skill. The system is the maximum number of your dead has increased by 1. The system notification of your meaning is very low." He looks at the vast structures and says, "If you are comrades, you are not aware of the price. I do not feel comfortable. Sorry, but look down," he says. "Well, I must collect myself. Diaspora. If I do not, I will make mistakes, only I still do not know what is happening. But I am doing well yet first. This is the first thing I must think about. I will struggle myself. and then run from here. Song looks from the window, finds the goblins everywhere, he says. I think the situation here is better if I do not hurry down, but I cannot stay here forever. I will make them take over and go below. He goes below, and the skeletons find Manhwa, who fights the sprites and cries of fear, looking at him. He says, "What are these things?" Song Senbei says, "What should I call them? They are my guards." Manhwa, "Did you choose a specialty card that says yes?" "I chose the thief card." Song asks how many stars on this card says. Manhwa, "It was a single star card. It was 1 star, as in the rank of Major General." "This is not a good thing," he says to him. "Well, you will die early if you remain a belief. Points from the system will be applied to the effect of harmony. From now on, the team's fighting harmony skills are a thief first. Level classification matching arms. The condition must contain 5 members equipped with daggers. The effect increases the rate of critical strikes by 10%, and the amount of gold currencies increases. Get it 10%. Manhwa Senbei says, "Can you see this as well?" He says, "Yes. The effect of harmony." Doesn't he say to himself, if we can get identical species from the same equipment, we will get an effect that increases our statistics. This means that the better the team cooperates, we get more features, but these effects not only apply to us, but also on them. They are skeletons. I'm not sure of this yet, but it seems that her skills are somewhat useful. But this means that even if I am on my own, I will get the same effect due to the skeletons. So did they also show them a large size? They look at them surprised by Manhwa. This monster must be their leader. Notice from the regime, the Gillen group in front of you fell under the effect of the smell of death. From the first level, his statistics were reduced by 30%. This effect works on the presence of 4 or more skeletons. Song says it seems that luck is allied. The skeletons are attacked on the Gillen and their leader. Manhwa sighed to see the skeletons fighting at it. But the leader of the Galen group has activated the impact of the wild madness of the regime. The force of the leader was increased. It destroys the skeleton structures with the insanity of the wilderness. Manhwa says that it is not worth escape now. Song tells him to wait, that he wants to examine the situation with accuracy. These skeletons move successively. If it must be done, it moves the skeleton according to its orders. Notice from the system I got 10 golden work for every ghoul that you hunt. The skeleton is fought by the leader of the Gailan. Who killed the leader? Notice from the system I got 50 golden work to hunt you. The leader of a group of 10. Galen. He goes towards the leader of the Galen, who finds them to be tools. After killing them, he takes the spear and fences left. After the leader of the Galen performance information name simple speed. Class classification single hand effect is unknown performance information. Name is the spirit of the wilderness rare classification bracelet. The influence increases your follow-up force from the rating of Al Galen by 10% and their speed is 20%. The speed of the Galen attack and increased their strength. The performance skill will be activated when the conditions are met. Conditions have been fulfilled to activate the performance skill, to be followed by the soldiers from the Gillen race skill information. Skill name, Crazy Wild. Class, classification, effect of increasing statistics. Explanation of the effect of your followers from Al Galen. Their strength increases by 10%. The speed of their attack increased by 20%. For 10 minutes at the time of the time, Song says. I seem to have got many useful things looking at the skeleton and tells him good manufacture. Manhwa asks Song to where to go now. He says, I think we must get out of here first. He goes towards the exit. They find that there is a lot of demand. Song says there are others there. Great life. You enter the printing room here, will be afraid of anyone, and perhaps you will attack you if he sees you. Manhwa says this is true, and I am sorry for doing this. Also, when I saw you earlier, a problem may occur if someone accumulates. One of the students who are present now says, please contact the police currently, and the student council is investigating. What is happening now? Says one of the girls says, what are you waiting for us to do in such a situation? Just break the door, the young man says. We have tried, But whatever we do, we could not destroy the girl. What do you not have to destroy? The young man says this is true. So everything we must do is to remain our place. Follow my instructions, please. Song Sinbei enters the hall and says to himself. He is going to the door. Vinsiuk Senbei. He is a person obsessed with hierarchy. As he is an authoritarian person, he is known for harassing girls on campus. It seems to be his greed for him to get its place is high in the student council. Jane shouts to me, "What is angry?" I said, "Stay away from the door, dreaded. It is dangerous." Song Senbei and Hanho are looking at him, and they are surprising. Jin tells me sorry for this screaming, but there are many things that have happened, so I am a little tense. I do not know what is happening now, but what matters to me is to preserve the safety of students, Song says in himself. Does he count himself as the highest place of this matter? That bother me. Jane Song says I chose a card. You too. Do you also answer yes, this is true? Both of us did. You know Hanho really, right? Yes. Of course. I remember. I met on some occasions before, because I do not have much time to attend the lectures. Song says in himself, if you are in the university now. Li Jin says to all you know that we are going through a dangerous situation now. Right. If you have a weapon, you should help us protect the rest of the students. Song says, well, we will help you. Jin tells me, by the way, what is your specialty? Are you a spear user? Are you sure that you can help? I have eliminated a green monster that it is known as Ghoul, and even if you are carrying a weapon, it will not be eliminated with the ease that you expect. I chose 2 stars cards and I got a warrior shield from it, so if anything dangerous happens, just hide my back between a place they speak. Mintsua comes an accelerator and says Song Sinbei, I think that I heard some of the fearful sounds on the ladder leading to the upper floor. Jin is now telling me and all the people here are still the guidance. Move slowly and hide in this cafe. There we will guard the entrance. Song Senbei and Hanho are heading towards the closed gate. Hanho says, can you see this? You also, Senbei, says yes. Notice on the door. The doors are sealed with a strong magic seal. Defeat the leader of the monsters, so that you can remove the magic seal and open the doors. Failure to attack the monsters in the designated time leads to an increase in the strength of the monster inside the building. Song says in himself, the leader of the monsters in 2 hours. In only a minute is the door does not even joke from his place. Hanho says it appears as a time attack. Senbei, for example, if you don't kill the monster before the end of time, everyone will die, or something like this. Song, says Angela, I know how the monster will increase, but the only thing is sure, we need to kill this monster to get out of this place. We must keep in mind that it is impossible for anyone to come to save us. Song says to himself, anyone who will lower his caution, even a little in our case, will be the first to be killed. Jin Song says you know, and you know each other as well. You are in the same school year, Jin tells me. I feel more safe with the presence of both of you at my behavior. Let's stay here with caution and protect each other. Well, Song Senbei says. Wait, we stay next to each other here. To Dalen, seriously? Jin says. And what is the problem with that? Says El-Ari. The letter written on the door, Jane Black, tells me that I can see it cannot go out. So we must wait until the rescue team comes to us. Song says he is upset the rescue team really believes that the police can come here to save us. If the same situation is happening in the entire country, do you think that the police then will give us any attention? Jin asks me. I went to his military service by Alice. So Song answers yes. Jin tells me what? It seems to be as if you do not know about the strength of our army. That our country's army is very strong. After the army moves to save us, everything will be fine, Song says in himself. What is it naive for this degree to think? This it is impossible for the army. He can save everyone everywhere in the state. Well, I must calm down first. Everyone will be in danger if the hands are written. Jin tells me to. Damn this. I can no longer bear your actions. Remain outside this matter and leave the behavior of me. If you want success, just go to the cafe and sit there quietly. They look at the window. Al Galen finds it everywhere. They are afraid. We must stop them from entering the cafe. Minnesota, looking at them, while they are the corridors screaming and saying, there are more there, and some are in the. Outurgeon is afraid and says, what is the right of hell? Song Senbei says, they are not Gilla. I understand your sense of responsibility, but we must act wisely. If one of the crazy people tries to act as a leader of a group, he will kill them completely. Jin tells me, what do you say? This is what your specialty says. Song Senbei says, an amazing specialty that exceeds your perception is from the system. The smell of death was affected from the first level. The strength of your enemies of Al Galen has been reduced by 20%. Song Senbei is preparing and saying to start hunting. Whoever was in the hall is afraid of the Galen attack. Jin tells me, what is this? Against Hell, the skeletons are fighting Gillen with its clans attacking. Song Senbei, Al-Gailan but Jin says, I was watching him fighting and running away, but this boy was able to eliminate them so easily. Song Senbei says, prevent them from escaping by stairs. The skeletons go to fight them. Song says, your good work and continue to prevent them. Song Senbei says in himself, if the rest sees that these skeletons are under my control, they will make sure that I can lead them in this position, and then I can lead them to defeat the leader. According to the rules of the game, if we want to defeat the leader, then cooperating together is the safest way. Logo from the system. The special effects used currently the skill of harmony. The effects increase the rate of critical strikes by 10%, and increase the amount of gold currencies obtained by 10%. The tool used is the Spirit of Wild Effects. Increase the strength of the attack 10%, and increasing the speed of the attack by 20% to follow from the Gailan race. Song says, in himself, using a statistics increased statistics and a wild spirit bracelet. Al Galen does not pose any threat to me, but this world does not only contain the Galen. Certainly, I will meet stronger monsters in the future. One of the students says, is this boy currently controlling the skeletons? Minhwa answers, this is what it seems to. Like one of the girls. She says this is comfortable, but who is this boy from any section? He says one of them seems to be a person who grows up from the creative writing section. The fighting ends. Everyone is happy. One of them says this boy depends on him. How is a person like this in the creative writing section? Fortunately, one of the girls says, there is a person with this skill and strength between us. Song goes to inspect what the Galen leaves behind, saying that there are no tools that the regular monsters will not fall. Any tools notice from the regime. I got the rolling wheel ticket for killing 20 monsters. You are the 34th person in the date that gets the absolute evaluation. Only 100 people can obtain it. Song says the rotating wheel. I do not have a store even where I got it. He goes after the fighting and says how the fighting was, in your opinion. Lee Jin Senbei. Were you useful? For you, for me, a Jean, shame. And he could not answer. Everyone who was in the place gathering, says Song Senbei. All of you have seen the message at the front door, so you know that it will not open without removing the magic seal on the door. The girls say, then what should we do? Is there another way out from here? The solution says in the letter on the front door, somewhere in this building there is a leader of monsters. What we must defeat out of here is only 2 hours left for us. We must defeat the leader of the monsters inside the building. During this time, if we are not able to defeat it, I do not know what the consequences will be, but of course, it will be dire. Since he is the leader of the monsters, it will definitely happen. Terrible. One of the students says he is afraid. I have seen this monster before. Yes, I saw the leader of the monsters when I was smoking on the roof. I suddenly saw a very huge monster, eliminating my teacher in front of my eyes. He says to himself on the surface, it seems that we have set the goal. Will anyone else will join us? All students think about themselves and some are afraid of monsters, he says. Of course, no one will join, even if you can give them hope. The opponent is the leader of the monsters. It will be difficult to convince them of this. Hanho says that I can also stay here. Song says, of course. You cannot be present in order to increase the statistics of skeletons. Hanho says, if I will give you my dagger, but Song will refuse to do so. She appears and says, even if the leader fights us, I do not think that you expect what we can defeat it as well. Well, in fact, we are here in the hallway with unpopular people, and this bother me. Look at these people. What is useful? Take them with us, if the skeletons are more beneficial than them. The jackets Yun. Jisoo are 3 stars. Song says, no one knows how strong the leader seems to be, his risk. It is fresh to Lee Jin and says, what about you answering me? Jin, well, I think it is better to stay here. One of them must stay and protect the rest of the students. Song Senbei says, well, then be of vigilance and protect them well. Since we do not know how much time we need to defeat the leader, let us go to him now directly. Then go to the upper floor, to the surface, wherever they are ascending. The skeletons go to eliminate them. But he says to the rest of the team, both of which are in dealing with those behind us. Yoon Jeso fights them with her sword and eliminates them. After that, they wake up to all Gale Song tells them, come to us, to continue ascending to the top. They find the professor injured. Song, professor, says how this happened. The professor answers all the students of the department in Dabi. It is my fully mistake. The professor is affected by what happened. Song says, please, professor, you can tell us what happened, professor. Thanks to you, I managed and I stayed for the students from escaping to the research room first. And since we were unable to stay there for a longer period, we went to the roof. I only followed the instructions of the emergency guide. So I insisted on going to the surface. There, we found a more horrific monster. And all the students who followed me with blindness. He cries and says, Song, and go there. Please do not go. Song is hardly attached to the regime's exceptional task. Take the revenge of the murdered professor or ignore the goal of the mission. The mission prize is an exceptional skill. Deer dies in front of your eyes. You made you feel guilty during the pronouncement of the latter. For a person like you, he has the power to control the dead. You can take a pimples by killing a monster leader, or you can simply about death, your miserable professor. Your choice. You must follow the time specified in the message on the door of the building. Your choice will determine your destiny. Song, destiny means something like a turning point. Yes. Why? Why should we go through all this suffering? Really, if we go to the surface, then go to the surface. I feel the regime. You entered the area of the monsters. Looking at the roof, finds it destroyed and gathered the students killed from Galen. Hanho looks at Galen and is afraid. He says, my God, this is my colleague at the school, Yoon. Jeso is upset with the scene and says these monsters says Song, let's let us a little and think about the reason we go through all this in the end. All of this happened because we are weak to Gothis. Explains that we must become the most powerful. Galen preparing for his striker. Song and his group, Hanho Senbei says, tell me, find a way you can escape from all this time. Song says, both we will fight this time with a greater warning. That activates the essence of the wilderness points from the system. The essence of the wilderness has been activated. During the next 10 minutes, the next skills will be acquired. Increase the accommodation of the spray strategies. 10% increase the speed of the attack. 20%. The skeletons attack voices and fight them with immigration, Song says to his group. They considered the skeletons shields for you. Hanho is afraid of the goblins. The cursing says, I did not choose this vigor specialization. I thought it was a useful specialization, but it is useless. But he decides to attack the daggers, which affects the impure Sahi. I am good in such things, is it not? He throws all the daggers on the goblins and afflicts them. He says I found it. I found my strength. Notice from the regime, the mobilization of the sprites is decreasing due to the smell of death. The first level is the skill level decreases at a rate of 30%. The leader of the sprites shows a notification from the regime. The sprites attack on the group. Song kills them with spear. He says get rid of them all. The bone life structures on the sponsorship and kill them. Song shouts on the group that the withdrawal of the withdrawal is that the leader of the sprites attacked the skeletons. No, the skeletons control the skeletons say Song says the bodies dictate the place. But I approached my limits. He attacks the leader of Galen Hanho, throwing the daggers on the leader, but the leader repels the attack. Hanho says, I have been able to repel the daggers. Senbei says, this is angry. So does he say, yes, he is angry with me. The Gyulun leader attacks Hanho, who escapes and screams Song Senbei, saved me from the leader. The skeletons are helping Hanho and attack the Gyulun leader, but he is hitting the skeletons. Yoon Jisoo, the leader of the Gyulun, is attacked by her sword. Very amazing, Yoon says. I was thinking that I could penetrate it. My shame. Senbei looked at Yoon's attack. These are the movements of Saif. Crazy. Such deadly coach strikes are waiting for a chance to pounce. This boy is not normal in any sense of the word. I must also move regularly. The skeletons are ordered to do a back attack, to attack it from the front, but it was not affected by a lot of attack. The leader of the Gyulun, who attacked them fiercely, Senbei said to himself, at this rate, we will all die. We only need to hit him with one. He looks at the sword lying on the ground, saying that one is ideal, only to defeat it. The ghoul leader attacks and smashes the skeletons. Song Sunbi prepares. He orders two skeletons to advance towards him and attack the leader, but he destroys them. Senpai throws the sword he got to one of the skeletons he trusts. He takes it and attacks the leader. Notice from the system, because of your collaborative teamwork, the collaboration effect has been activated. Harmony skills, level 1 warrior, classification, weapon match, activation condition. The team must contain 3 people equipped with swords. Skill effect, increase attack speed by 10%, reduce sword weight by 50%. The skeleton shows the one-handed warrior. Classification, individual harmony. The activation condition is that the characters have only one hand holding the sword. Senpai says if I use the attunement effect on my sword, I can win. Song attacks with a chair and a sword. He says taste this hellish seat. Yoon Jisoo and the skeletons attack the leader. The leader blocks the chair and Yoon Jisoo's sword attack is unaffected by the skeleton's harmony with him. Song Sunbi says, now sacrifice yourself. Goodbye, and thanks for everything you've done for me so far. He says to himself, although this skeleton has endured for a long time and fought for the sake of the decisive moments, it's time to sacrifice himself for the sake of victory. The skeleton attacks with all his might on the leader of the ghouls and cuts off his head. Notifications from the system. The effect of the one-handed warrior skill has an 80% probability. The one-handed warrior can avoid the boss's first attack. You got 225 gold coins for killing the monster boss. You have leveled up. You have reached level 3. Hanho Sung Sunbi says, what did the skeleton do before he got like this? He says, I don't know either. Notice from the system, the skeleton has evolved from the ghoul race due to absorbing the ghoul leader's magical energy. His defensive stats have been greatly increased. The commander trait has been added. For the team, depending on the number of team members, you can achieve harmonious harmony. Song Sunbi says, what is this? How did you get this weird tattoo without my consent? Shows the list of followers of 1. Level 2 elite skeleton. Weapon, blade, sword, ogre sweat. Attributes, undying leader. Song Sunbi says harmony is based on leadership trait. Does this include platoons, squadrons, and even companies? Looks like I should increase my followers. Hanho Senpai says my level has gone up. Yoon Jisoo says I also reached the 3rd level. What about you? Song Sunbi says, I also just reached him. Yoon Jisoo says, I was so busy getting to the 2nd level that I was choosing random prizes. What is the most useful card? Senpai says that most of the cards are actually chosen randomly, so all you have to do is wish yourself good luck. Hanho says, can you see these cards too? He says, yes. I can choose a card from these 5. Choose a card. Level up. First, tools. Random card. Second, skill. Random card. Third, random card statistics. Fourth, random card agility. Fifth, Random card. Other features. Senpai says when I was in level 2, I chose a skill card and as a result, my followers increased. System notification: you have acquired the bone forging skill for weapons. Basic skill information. Skill name: bone forging for weapons. Skill score. Basic skill classification. Active skill required mana points 10 points. Weapons can be forged using corpse bones. You can form the following types of weapons: 1. Swords. 2. Edged weapons. 3. Daggers. 3. Spears. 4. Arrows. The final product varies in quality depending on the type and quality of the raw material used. Once your skill level increases, you can craft more complex weapons. Song Sunbi says I can form weapons using bones. Notice from the system, you have completed the exceptional mission of avenging the dead with the intention of saving. You have been awarded exceptional skill. You have skillfully changed your destiny. The maximum number of followers has increased by 1. Senpai says, now I can control a group of 5 skeletons. What does he mean when he says that my fate has been changed subtly? I can't understand what he means by this. I have to choose wisely in the future. Hanho gets mediocrity. Senpai says, what's the benefit of this? He says it increases the chance of hiding from monsters by 50%. Han Ho looks at Yoonji Soo and says to her, what is this gemstone? She says, the system says it's an ignition stone. If you increase the sharpness of your weapon by using it, there is a possibility that the target you are attacking will catch fire. Senpai says, try it later. Let's get out of here first. The story moves to the hall where the rest of the students are. Minsu Lee Jin says, is it really okay if we stay here? All the students here are worried and apologizing for not following Song earlier to fight the monster leader. They say they should have listened to him, but when I heard what they were saying, I felt I should tell you. Lee Jin holds his shoulder tightly and shouts, damn it, how dare these people talk nonsense about me here trying to do my best to protect them. What is this nonsense? Listen, you bastards. What are you babbling on about so much? I can't risk my life for your protection from now on. Whoever wants to leave, leave. Leave from here, the students say. What are you talking about? Where are we going? Jin says to me, if you don't like it here, leave. Go to the roof and get killed with that bastard Song Sunbi. One of the students says, do you think this place belongs to you alone? Jin tells me, yes, I am the one who protects you. The student says, you are not protecting us. The person who went to the roof is the one protecting us. He gets upset and says, damn this. I've been trying not to get mad at someone and hit them since high school. But you bastard, tell me now if you're saying that this damn Song Sunbi is the one protecting you. So go to the roof to get killed like that damn bastard. Do you take back what you said now? All the students fall silent. Jin asks me, why did you suddenly calm down? He hears a voice asking, who was killed? He is surprised by the skeletons right in front of him and falls to the ground in fear. Song Sunbi says, did you want me to die after that? He goes to open the front door that was locked by the regime. Lee Jin is still lying on the ground saying, this is impossible. How did this happen? Song Sunbi says looking at you is really hurting the eyes. Song Sunbi says to Lee Jin, do you have something to say to me? He gets nervous and can't answer. The students say, what the hell? This guy was pretending to be stronger than us. Well, he was hated from the beginning. Song Sunbi and the rest of the students go out. They find the bodies of students lying on the ground on campus. One of them asks, what should we do? Song says they're obviously moving in groups. Are they hiding somewhere on campus? Hanho Sung Sunbi says, look, there are people heading towards them. Song Senpai says to himself, these people are the survivors of the goblin battle. Jin turns to someone and says, brother, I'm still alive. I learned that the student council president will survive. I'm so lucky to meet you here, says Yoonji Soo. The student council president, they're talking about you, Hanho says. Yes, it's very clear. The student goes and introduces himself. I am Park Dae-sung, the student council president. I think you have been through a lot of difficulties. We faced the same difficulties after we defeated the monsters. you will be safe with us. But what are those monsters? Song Sunbi says, I know. They are from the class card you chose. Park says, you chose monsters that kill humans. Song Sunbi says to himself, so you're trying to make me look like a dangerous man. Park says, I'm sorry to tell you this, but if you want to join to our group, you must kill this monster. Song Sunbi says, I don't think I can do that. Park says, are you going to continue to keep those unknown and disgusting monsters among us? Do you want to keep them among us? Hanho says, but they are cute. They need more confidence. Song Sunbi says anyway, I'm sorry, I can't doing this. Killing them is like losing my weapons. Can anyone walk around in such a situation without weapons? Park says, well, I don't know, but if we can protect you, there won't be any problems. Right, I'm giving you one last chance if you want to join to my group. You must kill those creatures. Yoon Jisoo says you're talking about yourself now. Did we say we want to join your group? Did you guys from the student council play any major role? This is really very annoying. Park says you should be the head of the social physical education department. Yoon Jisoo says the university is destroyed. Why does it matter? Park says, Madam President, calm down and join us. You will regret it later if you don't, say Yoon Jisoo. Stop being so hypocritical. You pretended to do something good for the school, but you embezzled several million won by forging bills during the celebration. Did you think I didn't know about this? I'm the one who told the university newspaper about it. Park gets upset. He says to her, what if I can't help you anymore? Please leave the out. She will attack if you disturb her. He leaves and says, you guys will regret this. It's better to go together because of the conflict effect. You'll regret going in a small group right before you die. You idiots. Song Sunbi, Yoon Jisoo says, sorry for asking you that. But do you have a problem with the student council president? She says he was just so disgusting. He was hanging around campus. In order to pick up girls. He betrayed some of the younger students. He may have that important title, but his true nature has never changed. Hanho gets upset and says, what a bad person. Senpai says, I get it. First of all, the first piece of advice in the escape mission is to avoid buildings. Yun says, if you say escape mission, it is better to avoid gatherings. It seems that monsters attack places where people gather. Song Sunbi says, then let's gather and go out using the stairs behind the campus. It leads to the main gate, and there are a few people there. They leave the place very carefully. Then suddenly Song Sunbi tells them to stop. They find a monster in front of them killing ghouls. Hanho says, oh my god, what is this? He's bigger than the goblin leader. Song Sunbi says to himself, after the goblins come the ghouls. The ghoul attacks them from the top of the stairs. Song Sunbi says a new supplier of skeletons has appeared.